Hello, everyone. My name is Ebony Coleman with Wellness Redefined, and I have Lindsey with us. Lindsey, thank you so much for coming on here and telling your experience. So I'm going to ask you a couple of questions. So what brought you to Wellness Redefined and specifically to the Gut Distress program?
I had saw a post about calling anybody that had Hashimoto's, which I had got diagnosed with about 16 months ago. And so I had said, that's me. And then I had reached out to Ebony and we had chatted a little bit. And then she had mentioned this program. And so I was like, yes, that's what I need. And I just kind of dove in the deep end, not asking a lot of questions, just dove into the deep end because it sounded exactly what I needed to do.
Awesome. And going through the deep end, would you say it was what you expected or more or less?
I didn't have a ton of expectations, but from a food intake perspective and just like keeping organized and consistent, I kind of expected those things. There was a few unexpected moments or like, okay, didn't know we could not use that or things like that. But overall, for the most part, I think when you think about a gut reset or a metabolic reset, it's exactly what you think it is, but even more than that, just because it's not like something that comes in the mail, it's more hands-on.
Yes. Okay. And how was the food?
To me, good. I kind of stuck to things that I like and didn't waver off of them very much. Sure, every once in a while I get really tired of them, but I liked it. I stayed consistent. I learned after probably a week or two, like what it was, how to do it, how to cook it, and then just move forward. So it was fine for me. Great.
Awesome. What made you, you already said that. What would you say to someone that's in a similar situation with you as far as wanting to, or deciding on moving forward with this program?
I would say it's worth it. It's worth the investment for your health. Sometimes we don't always, when we hear about a price or, something like that, a cost to it, you're like, oh, I don't know. But honestly, as much as you get with the app, with the Facebook group, with the calls, the weekly calls every week, the handout that you get, you are getting a lot of information from a lot of qualified people that you probably, if you spread it out, I don't know what it equals to a day, but it really is cost effective. So I just say, do it, invest in yourself, and really dive in the deep end and give yourself a chance. And if you stick to the program, it really is successful.
Yes. We've seen so many different stories. Can you share some of your results that you had?
Yes. I lost about 15 pounds overall, but more than just that, I had a hard time kind of hitting a threshold. I did hit that threshold. I'm not super far over it, but I feel really confident about where I'm headed. But I had already scheduled a sleep study test. This would have been my third one before I started the program. And when I got to the sleep study test about a month in, I had probably been on the program 4 or 5 weeks at that point. And they were like, well, what are your symptoms? I was like, well, they were these and these and these. And so not a lot came from the sleep study test, which I'm grateful for. So, but it was just really funny because before I started, I really did have all those symptoms. So sleep was much better. I felt a lot more just the fog of the everyday. There's a lot of just things that I felt like overall were super beneficial for my growth for somebody that does have Hashimoto's that struggles with that, like the afternoon slump, sleeping's terrible, things like that. So, and if it didn't come from just the food, it came from the knowledge of other aspects through those calls that made it a very well-rounded experience.
Awesome. Because there's definitely homework in the program.
Yes.
Including books and modules to do. So thank you so much. My last question is, where would your health be now if you didn't take action And I know you were already on a health journey before coming to us. So where would your health be now if you didn't take action with Wellness Redefined?
So about 16 months ago, I took out gluten and dairy. So I'd already started down that pathway of just trying to kind of reset my whole system and life and things like that. But I really feel like the focus time that I did take, it really just helped kind of shift of not just doing something to do it, but really thinking about the ingredients that you are putting in your body or the calorie intake of what that is. Because there's a lot of unhealthy gluten-free options, right? So like how do you switch over from just being gluten-free to actually eating whole food, right? Or not just eating a gluten-free waffle, but actually like eating food that's real, and things like that. And it almost kind of causes you in a forced way to do that. And then you just kind of keep on that track and keep going. So I feel like I would still feel pretty bad. I mean, even though I was doing all the right things, I still felt really slumped and just had a hard time getting over the hump. And I really feel like this has helped. So there's a lot of things that I'm going to take from this program and continue to do in my everyday life.
Awesome. It's more than a metabolic reset. It's like a mental reset also, like relearning things, because we can count calories, but something I mentioned in one of the modules is certain foods are inflammatory. So what are we going to choose? Are we going to choose nutrients, or are we going to choose causing inflammation? And how can we prevent doing that? So you have been a joy to have in the program. I'm so excited that you said yes. And thank you for taking the time to talk with me today.
Yeah, thank you. It's been great.
Thank you.